Have you ever wondered if someone close to you might be hiding a past life? This true story might just make you question whether death is really the end. Now he is his youngest daughter's son, which makes you wonder, why do we drink mungpo soup? Seriously. This is a boy about 16 or 17 years old who still carries memories from his past life. And when he started talking, everything began to make sense. He said in his previous life, he was an ordinary farmer, couldn't read or write. Later in life, he got stomach cancer and passed away at 69. On the day he died, his family gathered around crying over his body. He remembered suddenly sitting up out of his own body and floating near the door. He watched everyone sobbing around him. He wanted to comfort them, but there was nothing he could do. He just watched as they cleaned his body and changed him into burial clothes. After they dressed him, his eldest son took lit yellow paper strips and passed them over his body. And believe it or not, this was only the first sign he was coming back. At that moment, he saw his own shadow wearing those burial clothes. Later, they placed him in a wooden coffin and carried him to the grave. He remembered sitting on top of his own coffin as they carried him. When they arrived, he climbed down and stood watching as they lowered the small coffin into the ground and set up a tombstone. He couldn't read, but he knew this was his grave. This was his home. After that, he followed his family back to the house and stayed there every day. Then, after the 7th day, the traditional head 7 two figures showed up. One was dressed in black, one in white. They said to him, "Come with us. We're going to your youngest daughter's place." So he followed them. His daughter was riding in a vehicle at the time, and he climbed on too. Not long after, he was reborn as his own daughter's son. He was reborn shortly after his death, entering the world from his daughter's womb. Of course, his daughter had no idea. The boy also shared one chilling detail. In his past life, he had a scar on his left wrist from cutting it while chopping tongue trees. And in this life, he was born with the exact same mark in the same place. But what's even more astonishing is what came next. This child remembered everything. When he was 1 month old, his mother took him to his grandma's house, who was, in fact, his wife from his previous life. His grandma took one look at the scar and froze. She said, "This mark, it's just like the one your father had. It can't be. Is he your dad reborn?" His mother didn't believe it. The boy was mischievous and started speaking before he was 1 year old with the memory and tone of a grown man. He knew exactly what was going on, but usually kept quiet. Then one day, this 1-year-old finally snapped, and what he said threw the whole family into chaos and fear. One time, his mother spanked him for misbehaving. He got so upset he ran into the bathroom, locked the door, and yelled, "I am your father! How dare you hit me?" Just imagine a 1-year-old saying something like that. His mother was horrified and even angrier. She pulled him out and spanked him again. Realizing that wasn't working, he finally let everything out. He said his previous name, the names of his children, his neighbors, his old friends, everything. Terrified, his mother carried him on her back to his grandma's house. As they got close, he refused to go any further. He said, "Tell Wan Yulun, his former wife's name, to carry me inside." When his mother refused, he threw himself on the ground and refused to move. So his grandma came out. He looked right at her and said, "You carry me inside." She had no choice, so she did. His former sons still didn't believe him. So he said, "I'll take you to my home." This 1-year-old child, still unsteady on his feet, led all the adults directly to his previous grave. The adults pointed to other graves on purpose and asked, "Is this yours?" He said no. But when he saw his own tombstone, he ran over, hugged it, and said, "This is my home." But after his identity was confirmed, things became even more awkward because now no one knew how to act. Everyone was stunned. After that, they had to believe him. But then came the hard part. How is this family supposed to work now? Back at his grandma's house, he stopped using names altogether. When he saw his previous sons, who were now his uncles or his former cousins, he would only smile. What was he supposed to call them? Son or uncle? Even his mother struggled. Should she call him son or dad? So I ask again, why do we drink Mengpo's soup? On Qingming Festival, he has to burn spirit money for his grandpa, which is really for himself. This is a true story, told in his own words. Pretty incredible, right?